when you shop for summer clothes. Think pink, pink, pink if you want that kelp that shows. Red is dead, blue is through, green's obscene, brown's taboo, and there is not the slightest excuse for plum abuse or chartreuse. Think pink.
G'day gorgeous. So I've had interesting few weeks. There's been lots of stuff going on and I've been in and out, which is why I haven't been very consistent with my updates, so sorry about that. Doing some technology changes and other wonderful things. My book's been in edit, which has raised a few issues, so it's really interesting. I think really what it comes up and tells me is that I'm trying to squeeze too much into one little book. And a couple of people had said this to me previously, but I'm kind of like, oh yeah, but I just kind of want to give people an overview about what the whole, idea is. And but the consistent message I keep getting is maybe I do that on the website and the book needs to be a little bit more detailed or specific around particular areas. So I'm thinking I might chunk them up a bit. So anyway, that's something a bit more I have to think about. My week's been a bit interesting because look what I did. I had no intention of doing it, but it's so cute. This is Cooper, and he's gorgeous. He's a Shih Tzu, and he's actually 8 weeks old, but he's actually a little bit small for his age. And I'm thinking to myself, what on earth have I done? Why have I gone back to, find myself a little fur baby at a time when I'm busy, right? I'm running around like a crazy person doing all sorts of things. But it's amazing how when we have to look after something, that nurturing quality that we have comes to the fore. And with this little guy, one of the things that actually really was a big deal is that he seems to have some motor coordination problems, right? Which actually makes him really super cute because the way he walks, he does this little prancy thing. I might put a little bit of the video on the end so you can see. But he may need some extra support. And I think I'm always up for the underdog, right? And then I'm thinking to myself, why do we do that? We do that as women. We are naturally nurturing human beings. We see something that needs support, or I am now talking for the masses, because I am aware that there are some people out there that aren't like this, but the most of us, when we're activated into that nurturing space, as women, we give a lot of ourselves. We give a lot of our time. We feel that we have something to offer. And we feel that when we do that, we actually make a difference in the world. And this gives us a sense of, pride and joy and fun. And we, I think that's what makes the world go round. We feel then like what we're doing is valuable. And we see this in all areas of our lives, in our relationships with our friends, in our connections within our work, a whole range of different areas that actually require us to tap into that nurturing part of ourselves. So I think that it's a really interesting kind of perspective. I'm just going to put him down because he's decided that he wants to hop down and go for a bit of a run, which is fair enough. I think that it's a really important part of ourselves that often as we get in really busy spaces within our businesses or within our work environment, or we get caught up in delivering on something, that we don't tap into that nurturing part. And often I think that we have a part that also needs to be nurtured, and there's this almost symbiotic connection between something that needs our help and then something that makes us like that. Just in giving that assistance, it makes us feel good, like we've done something that's important. And it's an amazing feeling. So I was laughing because in that space, in giving to this little thing that's kind of cute and fluffy and needs help and needs that support, there's a whole bunch of my mother instinct that's activated in there. And we always laugh about fur babies, but really our response or our approach to something that needs to be nurtured is the same. And we find this in our intimate relationships too. And some of us are drawn to that feeling like a moth to a flame, like it's so overwhelming that we just need to actually do it. And one of the things, if I think about, impulse buy, right? Impulse decision. Do I have buyer's remorse? No. I went through a phase where I was kind of like, this doesn't actually fit what I wanted for my life, right? And I talk about this when we talk about relationships too. why am I engaging in a relationship with somebody if their circumstances don't match mine? And this is where I talk about you've got to balance this stuff out. So in my case, what I actually want for my life and my decision for an impulse buy based on what I wanted to feel about myself, or my draw in terms of what I wanted to nurture, was offset by the fact that I decided that that's okay, because when I travel, he's got somewhere to go. If I didn't have somebody there to back me up, I wouldn't be able to do it, because my priority is actually to have the life that I really want in terms of, the travel and the opportunities that affords me. I would never have been tied down with a child at this time in my life. This gives me like this sense of having this responsibility for a child, but it's not the same. And I can know that there's somebody else who's able to look after him if I, need to go somewhere. And that's a critical factor in why I made the decision. And if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be able to make the decision. How do we relate that to relationships? Well, we make compromises on the things that don't actually fit our lifestyle. So we meet somebody and they've got young children. That's not what we want. We want to travel. Okay, can we make a compromise because those children, if you wanted to travel, could spend a lot of time with the other parent? Or, is there no possibility that there is another parent involved, and therefore you have to accept that responsibility for yourself, or you make a decision that you're going to have to travel on your own all the time? And these are all those kind of decision points that we have around, our relationships and what we do moving forward. And I just thought it was an interesting one about how we weigh that up. And I always say about the importance of understanding yourself and what you want from a relationship. And always when you feel that there's something that you definitely don't want, why you should absolutely rule that out. So, if my home situation had meant that when I said, hey, I want to get this puppy, my partner's there going, no way, I really don't want to have a puppy, then I would have made a decision based on that other person's desires as well, right? Because I've decided to share that space. But because the other person didn't give me that at all, there was this mutual kind of decision that said, yeah, we can do that. That's kind of nice, and we're both getting sort of something from it. It ends up being something that we both think is an okay thing to do. And this is often where those issues arise when we make decisions to get ourselves involved in something when we feel like we have to compromise too much and we don't feel like we can actually get what we want out of it, that we become resentful. So, the notion that I'm not going to resent this decision because it's a decision that I first had on my own. I weighed up what my options were. I consulted who needed to be consulted, and there was this general consensus and mutual decision. In reflection, I go, did I really need the responsibility? Because I'm telling you, he's a time vortex. He's so cute that you just spend all this time playing with him and stuff. There's one part of my brain that says, you got to get on with doing all of the other stuff that you've got to do. You really didn't have time for this. But it brings so much joy that it actually sets a balance there. And that's quite a positive thing. I've just got to get the balance back in the other direction. All right. Anyway, I thought it was a useful one, just helping to understand about how we make decisions and how sometimes what we think are not related decisions, like buying a puppy versus getting involved in a relationship with somebody who doesn't quite fit the mold, that they're actually similar processes that we go through when we actually make a decision and making a plan about moving forward. All right. Hope that was useful. All right. See ya. Come on.
Pink for cheeks and pink at your lips, pink for shirts and all of your slips, just a touch of pink at your knees, and if you please, what? Pink chemise.